Hi, it's Asher Gray with Conscious Creators. I wanted to speak with you a little bit about using our meditative mantras in order to override a specific addictive habit pattern. So, in Conscious Creators, we look at addiction as a form of an attachment disorder. So, survivors of neglect and trauma often have difficulty connecting with other people, formulating nurturing and healthy bonds with people, bonds that can allow for trust, the trust necessary in order to regulate our emotions through relating with each other, through connecting with each other. So instead of utilizing human or spiritual connection to regulate our emotions, a lot of people that have the residual effects of trauma and abandonment and neglect, well, they attach to things instead. So what started out with rubbing the edge of a blanket when we were children became biting our nails or collecting stamps, cars. Then it became drinking. Then it became hard drugs. Then it became, it could be any number of anything any habit pattern that we engage addictively. And we engage for the specific purpose of creating any sort of sensation that helps us to dissociate from the moment we are experiencing. That's attachment addiction. So instead of connecting to you, I'm going to attach to this bottle of alcohol or this weed pipe or this meth pipe, and I'm going to regulate my emotions with this thing rather than another person or a spiritual connection. In the absence of connection, we have to attach to these mechanisms. So my oldest and most subtle yet destructive addictive pattern was cigarette smoking. And I smoked for 30 years. I tried Chantix, I tried acupuncture, I tried hypnosis, I tried all these things to try to quit smoking, even that dude's book, The Easy Way to Quit Smoking. And nothing stuck. And what I started noticing with my cigarette smoking was getting gnarly. My throat was starting to close. It felt like Darth Vader was choking me. I was having these coughing fits where my eyes would start watering and I would hyperventilate. And it was not good. It was heading down a dark alleyway. And the most gnarly thing about it was I could see in a moment why I was smoking. I wasn't smoking because I love the nicotine and I love the cigarette smoke in my lungs. I was smoking to dissociate from specific moments throughout my day. And these three moments would be something that would always trigger me to smoke a cigarette. When I had to let somebody know how I felt, when I had to ask for something I needed or set a boundary with someone. In any of those three occurrences, I would for sure turn away from it, light up, dissociate from that moment, and attach to the cigarette. And then I would just basically pacify myself with the cigarette rather than expressing what I needed or wanted. And I saw very clearly that what was going to kill me was not the cigarette smoking, it was the withholding and inability to express my wants, needs, and desires in a clear way. So I was unable to express myself, and I was smoking and pacifying myself with a cigarette rather than expressing myself. And it was the lack of expression that was going to give me the cancer more than the cigarette smoke. That makes sense. And then I was like, well, what do I do with all this? It was very alarming to see that in the moment, and I decided that I was going to. I kind of reflected back over my life, and I realized that there was a time in my life that I really wanted to sing. And I used to sit in my basement and sing along to Doors and Kenny Rogers albums, but I always did it in secrecy. I was always embarrassed about singing. I had a father who was an instructor at the War College, and he played football. He wanted me to play football. He wanted me to join the military. He had no interest in me being a musician or an artist or anything of the sort. So I had shame around that. And I turned my back on that. And I never really allowed myself to sing in front of anybody. And so when I realized that, I said, I wonder if I would say a mantra. I was moved. So in Conscious Creators, we have a realization. I've gained awareness that I'm just acting in this automatic pattern and it doesn't serve me anymore. And then I get quiet and I reflect and I allow myself to tap into a greater conscious perspective. And then I gain insights. And the insight that I gained from that conscious perspective was, hey man, I don't want to smoke. I want to sing. So rather than smoking, I wanted to sing. So what I started saying every day was that I just love being a singer rather than a smoker. I love singing rather than smoking. I love being a singer rather than a smoker. And I would say that every day for about 40 days. And about after a month or so of this, I woke up one day and I was really sick, and I went to bed and slept through most of the first day and the second day. And I woke up on the third day. I know it sounds all biblical. And I said, "Oh man, I haven't had a cigarette in 3 days." And the voice in my head was like, "Yeah, that's right. You haven't. And it's been relieved from you. As long as you don't take credit for it, you won't be a cigarette smoker anymore." And I had to pause with that. I was like, who's we and what relieved this of me? But I was like, whoa, all right. It said, all you did was create the space for this to happen with your desire to become a singer. So you've been relieved of the cigarette smoking, provided you don't take action and you don't take credit for it and say, "Oh, I quit smoking." You won't be a smoker again, and you're free to now go ahead and sing. As long as you sing, you also not smoke. And that was 3 years ago, and I haven't had any nicotine in my body in 3 years. And since then, I've made about 25 songs. And prior to that, I never made any songs. I had not one song, nothing. And I'd never smoked, and I never sang in front of anybody. Now I often sing in front of people, and I'll even do poetry a cappella and sing my songs just on the street and stuff. So I've gotten pretty bold with it. And so I just wanted to share this with you because really the higher power's job, yeah, sure, if you want to quit doing something, it'll help you to stop doing something. But really what its job is to support you in your own evolution, to continue to evolve. And so if I can evolve and become a better expresser and support love's expression better and express truth better, that's really what the higher powers are looking for, is someone who is evolving and wants to evolve. And so by me trading in the cigarette smoking habit pattern, which wasn't working for me, with a habit pattern of creatively expressing truth and supporting love's expression through song, hey man, that's powerful, and that higher power will get behind that every day. So rather than try to stop smoking, I recommend you just replace it with something you've always had the desire to do but have always been afraid to. And I think you'll have amazing results. If you have any further questions, please feel free to email me directly at addressingthecause@gmail.com. Thank you.